Hello everyone, welcome to the OneClass channel. My name is Marlon. I'm a second year chemical physics student at the University of Waterloo with a minor in math. Today I'm going to be going through some high school and college level calculus problems. Be sure to check out the links in the description if you're in need of any extra homework help or like some one-on-one tutoring. Okay, so for our first question, we're going to be finding the derivatives of our trig functions. Okay, so for the first commonly known ones, we're going to find that the derivative of cos x is going to give us negative sine x. The derivative of sine x is going to give us cos x. The derivative of 1 over cos x we are going to find using the quotient rule. And that just states that the derivative of f of x over g of x is equal to the derivative of f of x multiplied by g of x minus the derivative of g of x multiplied by f of x, all over g of x squared. And so for our question, we have f of x is equal to 1, so its derivative is equal to 0, and g of x is equal to cos x, so its derivative is equal to negative sine x, as we found above. We're just going to plug this all back into here, and we will get that this derivative is equal to 0 by cos x minus negative sine x by 1 all over cos squared x. So we can go ahead and erase everything down here, and then we can simplify this. So this becomes sine x over cos x by 1 over cos x, and this will just give us tan x by secant x. And so that means that we can just state up here that the derivative of secant x is equal to tan x by secant x. Next up, we look for cosecant. So the derivative of cosecant x, which is going to be 1 over sine x. We're just going to use the same thing, where we have f of x is equal to 1, so its derivative is 0 by sine of x, minus 1 by the derivative of sine x, we found it to be cos x. This is all over sine squared x. When we simplify this, this will become negative cos x over sine x by 1 over sine x. And this will give us negative cotangent x by cosecant x. And so, if we just rewrite our answer up here, we'll get the derivative of cosecant x is equal to the negative cotangent of x by cosecant x. Next up, we look for the derivative of cotangent x. We know that that is 1 over tan x, and that is going to be the derivative of cos x over sine x. If you go about finding that using the quotient rule again, we have f of x is equal to cos x. The derivative is going to be negative sine x. G of x is sine x. And the derivative is going to be cos x, as we found above. So once we put that all back into our quotient rule formula, we will get, let me write it down here, negative sine x multiplied by sine x minus cos x, this is g prime, multiplied by cos x, and this is all going to be over sine squared x We know that this is the negative of sine squared x plus cos squared x all over sine squared x. This is a trig identity. We know that it is going to be equal to 1. And so we get negative 1 over sine squared x, and that is going to be negative cosecant squared x. And so if we come back here, we can just state that the derivative of cotangent x is going to be equal to negative cosecant squared x. And lastly, we're going to find the derivative of tan x in a similar fashion. And this is going to be sine of x over cos of x. So again, in this case, f of x is equal to sine x. The derivative of that, as written above, is going to give us cos x. G of x is equal to cos x. The derivative of that, as written above, is going to be negative sine x. Plug that all back into our quotient rule formula. And we get that d over dx of tan x is going to be equal to cos x by cos x minus negative sine x by sine x all over cos squared x. This is going to become cos squared x plus sine squared x all over cos squared x. Again, this is the identity. We know that this is equal to 1. So this should just be 1 over cos squared x, and that will be secant squared x. And so we can just put that in back up here. And those will be your final answers for this question. And so we have the derivative of cos x is negative sine x, the derivative of sine x is cos x, the derivative of cosecant x is negative cotangent x cosecant x, the derivative of cotangent x is negative cosecant squared x, the derivative of tan x is secant squared x, and the derivative of secant x is tan x by secant x.